And welcome into another edition of the Hustle Show podcast here on this Monday, November 20th for our Hustle Show. Thanksgiving week it is, and who better to have right at my side? I have turkey, I have stuffing, and I have Brian Power in my life. I am thankful, I am grateful you are here, and it's always great to be with you, my friend. How are you today? Coming off, by the way, folks, Brian Power coming off a 4-0 Sunday in the NFL. Give it up to him. Give it up. Show some love.
And that is indeed, Mark, why I can say I am feeling tremendous here on this Monday. Yes, we were seeing him well in the NFL yesterday, including the Thursday night winner with the Ravens team total over, which was a winner in the third quarter. Oh, by the way, you wish they could all be that easy. I am now 5-0 in week 11, going for 6-0 tonight in the Monday night game, which we're about to discuss. And as you also mentioned, it is Thanksgiving week, which means there is a lot of football to break down, and we're going to be looking ahead to the Thanksgiving week, maybe those three games in particular on Turkey Day. I hope to keep it going. 20-9 run, Mark, the last 6 days, although in the interest of full transparency, I did lose my 5% on Saturday night on Oregon State, a bet that I told Teddy Covers this morning and Prez on WagerTalk today. If I could, I would make it again. I think Oregon State couldn't get over the hump. They could not get over the hump, but they should have.
I can tell you, for years, I have said that to people in the industry. You know what? I'd make the bet again because I'm that sure I was right. So I love your confidence, love the 20-9 record. And we will look ahead because thankfully on Thanksgiving, when you look down, you won't see anything but your belly. So we'll look ahead, not down. Here we go. Chiefs and Eagles tonight. Now, you and I have been on a little bit of a prop run. We had another prop cash last week, right? In our Monday night game, Russell Wilson got over his rushing yards prop in like the first quarter. So we had some success there. Trying to make it now 7 consecutive weeks that we've given out a prop winner. I would like to defer to you to do the honors if you would like. If not, I will go first. Age before beauty, I suppose.
Okay, I'll go first because mine's going to be pretty short and sweet. It is. I'm not reinventing the wheel with this one. A lot of times you and I have dug deep on some of these props. This one, I think it's one that it's going to be on a lot of people's mind. And it's Travis Kelce anytime touchdown. Look, it's up to -120. So the books are expecting him to get in the end zone. And this is what you need to know, Mark, about this prop, okay? The Eagles' pass defense is dead last in the NFL.
It's bad.
Against tight ends. Yeah, that's very bad. That means no one is worse. They are dead last in DVOA against tight ends. Obviously, Travis Kelce is the man at that position. Look, I know we've all got this Taylor Swift fatigue. If he gets in the end zone, okay, just be happy and go celebrate your win. Go get a beer out of the fridge. You don't have to be a part of that. But I think Kelce, who had a strong Super Bowl, remember, let's not bury the lead. This is a Super Bowl rematch for my clients. The Chiefs were a 5% winner in February. We can talk maybe about the spread here a little bit in a bit, but Kelce scored the first touchdown of that game. He had 6 catches for 81 yards. I expect him to be targeted a lot in this game, particularly when the Chiefs get into the red area. He's going to have a lot of catches because the Chiefs aren't very good at running the ball, and the Eagles, their defense is very good at stopping the run. So Travis Kelce, who is the odds-on favorite to score a touchdown in tonight's game, I believe deservingly so, will catch a touchdown. That is my prop here on the Hustle Pod, -120 anytime TD.
All right. Well, we will hope for Kelce to get in the end zone. If you're backing the Chiefs, you absolutely will. I, on the other hand, will back the Kansas City defense, or at least the pass defense in and of itself. My prop here, we're going to take Eagles wide receiver Devonta Smith under 60.5 receiving yards. Now, a couple of things here about Devonta Smith. He has only eclipsed this number 3 times this year. Twice against Washington. We know how bad their pass defense is. And once against Minnesota, we know how bad their pass defense is. Against everybody else, has not gotten to 60 this year, and he's played in every single game. That said, the other part of this handicap here, not to mention this defense, pass defense is one of the best in the league, top 5. You go back to last week, what did Devonta Smith do against Dallas? Also a top 5 pass defense. He only had 51 yards. Go back to the Jets, a top 5 pass defense. He only had 44 yards. So we are seeing him struggle against some of the better pass defenses in the league. Chiefs right up there with him. He will be lined up against Devonta Smith, Trent McDuffie, the second-year cornerback is having another outstanding season, like doubling down on his rookie year. But he's one of the highest graded overall cornerbacks according to PFF at 81.5, ranks highly in total pressures at 7 and stops at 20. He has been dynamic on the outside. The Chiefs will have McDuffie lined up over Devonta Smith. Obviously, all eyes and attention will be drawn to A.J. Brown here as he's the big guy, even though he didn't have a great game last week, but snapped a streak of at least 100-yard receiving games in a row. I still think Jalen Hurts will rely on Smith more than anything when he needs a guy to catch a ball. Smith's got that jumping ability. A.J. Brown rather's got that jumping ability and that catch ability. So Smith will be the forgotten guy here. And in reality, guys, you look at Devonta Smith. He's just, I talked about the Washington game where he had 7 receptions. He's not getting a ton of receptions. And against teams not named Washington, 3, 4, 5, 4 against Tampa Bay, so 1 against the Rams. He's not really being targeted as much as you'd think here because A.J. Brown is getting all the balls. So, again, Devonta Smith under 60.5 receiving yards tonight. We are going to be rooting for the thing that nobody likes, and that's an under here in tonight's game, Kansas City and Philadelphia.
I like it. And you mentioned the magic word in these NFL primetime games just a second ago, under. And I want to talk about this game relative to the Super Bowl back in February, okay? There's a lot has changed, even though, we're only 9 months removed and a half a season away from that, half a regular season away. The Chiefs defense, I think you would agree with me, Mark, is just so much better now than it was last year. Like, insanely better. While the offense, on the other hand, is worse. Patrick Mahomes and company are not the same juggernaut they were, even though I still like Kelce to get the end zone. They're not the juggernaut that they've been in years past. And it's really interesting. The total is what? Almost a full touchdown lower here than it was in February. Like it was 50 something. In fact, I don't have it in front of me, but I think it was like 51.5, and now it's 45.5. We know the primetime under trend this year, how profitable that has been. What do we think in terms of the total? Do you have any read on that? Because I kind of struggled with that. I feel it's a necessary adjustment and a correct adjustment by the odds makers as far as the over/under is concerned.
I think when it comes to this totally, look, one, you're above the key number of 44, right? So 24-20 theoretical final keeps you under the number. The Chiefs, for a better part of this year, are still being priced like a team that scores 30-plus points a game. And people are forgetting that they don't do that, period. It's not the offense that you're looking at anymore. So there are two things here. And you need both of them to happen for the over to really come in. One is you need the Chiefs offense to start scoring, and they're really not, right? This is an offense that's averaging 20 points a game. So you need that to happen. And I don't think that's going to happen against a Philadelphia defense that can make them really one-dimensional. Right? Like Philadelphia, even though their pass defense is bad, they still get after the quarterback. So, if the Chiefs have to drop back and pass nonstop here, you could see some things happen. Patrick Mahomes already has 8 interceptions or 9 interceptions this year already. That's a very high number for him. And then you also need the Kansas City defense to just not be as good as they've been. So I don't see a reason why this under doesn't come in. I don't see a scenario and a path to victory here or a path to a lot of points by Philadelphia without the help of a defensive special teams type touchdown or, a turnover on the wrong side of the field where they give him a really short field. I think you see a lot of field goals get kicked tonight. And it's kind of maybe last team with the ball sort of wins kind of deal. It might be a tie game and a game-winning field goal type scenario. But, yeah, I think more than anything, this is a game where the Chiefs have no problem just sort of grinding the pace down and moving the chains and playing field position because I don't think the Eagles are all that good, personally. I know their record is 8-1, but as I've said, look, they lost to the Jets. They struggled with Washington twice. They struggled with the Rams. They struggled with the Patriots on opening week. This is not a team that's, other than beating up on Miami and taking care of Tampa Bay, they haven't really won a game in any dominating fashion this year, right? They've never really looked like, okay, they're that much better. Like you saw the 49ers, what they did to Jacksonville, what they did this week, when the 49ers were winning, they were dismantling teams. Hasn't been the case for the Eagles this year.
No, I mean, they're 7th in point differential, 9th in DVOA are the Eagles, despite having the league's best record. I don't think even the most tried and true Philadelphia Eagles fan thinks this is the best team in the league right now. Maybe they do. and that's why they're
No, they all
a
do. They're all
fan.
maniacs. Just, there.
Yeah, but I.
Where's Dan Sheridan? What does Dan say? Dan must say the Eagles are the best team in the league.
Yeah. I don't know. I think in his heart of hearts, Dan, wherever he is, probably doesn't. But I agree with what you're saying. As far as the total goes, something that needs to be talked about too. How people perceive the Chiefs as this quick strike offense. What the Chiefs do, man, is they take the air out of the ball in the second half.
Yep.
They go on these back-breaking drives that just take the opposition out of it. So yeah, I think that's it for Monday Night Football. I'm playing the side. Full disclosure, you can get that on my page right now, WagerTalk.com, WT.buzz/BP. And that's what I
also
got.
have a play on the side for this game tonight at sm.buzz/MZ. So you guys can get that there as well, along with the free play that I'll post for Devonta Smith. Again, make sure you guys check us all out here, WagerTalk.com and WagerTalk TV. And by the way, hit that like button and smash that subscribe button as well here on the WagerTalk YouTube channel. Get alerted of all of our betting content every single day. All right, let's turn our attention to Turkey Day and the 3 games on the schedule for that day. The early game, Green Bay and Detroit, 7.5-point spread for the Lions here, total of 46.5. I will tell you this much. I feel like that total is low. If you're under the key number of 47, as far as totals is concerned, I think this is an over spot here. The Lions obviously are better at home. They score more at home. They put up 31 against the Bears last week. They also gave up like 27, which is alarming. And Green Bay, I don't know if their offense is that great, but, when was the last time the Lions really played a home game on Thanksgiving where you felt like it mattered, right? And it matters to them. This is a team that's in first place. We see the Vikings lose on Monday night. They could step on the throat of the Packers, knock them out of contention as well. So I don't know if I want to lay this 7.5 here because I think in a higher scoring game, it's probably going to be a little bit tighter scoring. But to me, the over feels like the play here, BP.
Here's the thing. Okay. We saw the Lions defense really, really struggle yesterday with the mobile quarterback. Again, I don't know what's up with that, but they really struggle with mobile quarterbacks. They gave up a lot of points on short fields. They were turning the ball over to Justin Fields quite a bit yesterday. Of course, it was a miracle comeback for the Lions. It's a game they should not have won, but you got to tip your cap to them for winning it, right? In years past, the Lions probably don't win that game now. They're one of the better teams in the league, and they got the W. Is the line maybe a bit getting more than 7 in a division game? I'm kind of tempted to maybe fire on the Packers initially here. I think we talked about the Eagles, how they may have the best record in the league, but they're 7th in point differential, 9th in DVOA. The Lions kind of feel like they're due to drop one. I don't know if they're going to lose this game outright, but they were very lucky to win on Sunday. And Green Bay, they get a win. They've won. I think they've won 2 of 3 now, correct? And they really should have won 3 straight.
Okay. Let me ask you this, though. I would argue that if you're on Green Bay, I think Green Bay in this game is correlated to the over and not the under. Because do you really foresee a Green Bay defense? Like, do you see a team shutting down the Lions offense? Like, is that really the way you beat the Lions?
So, and to that point, they gave up 23 to Pittsburgh, Green Bay. Giving up 23 to Kenny Pickett. My goodness, that should be a federal crime.
Yes. As the hate for the Pittsburgh Steelers continues. So, I think it's one of those things where if it stays under, it's because the Lions win the game 30-13, right? Like, it's not close. That would be my guess, because I don't think you're going to keep the Lions to 20, 24 points in the game. I just don't. And even at that, 27-24 kind of gets you home, or 27-20 even gets you home, right? So,
yeah.
That's the way I would just dice it. To me, as long as I'm under 47, I feel like the over is where I'd want to be in that game. All right, let's move on to the second game, Washington and Dallas. Brian, you know this because you and I talk on the regular. I'm going to tell everybody right now. I will give it out as a free play. I will give it out because it's going to be on my card for the 4th week in a row. Dallas first half, -6.5. I'll take it to the bank. Until it stops cashing, I'm going to keep playing it every single week. Dallas is the highest scoring first half team in the league. They score more at home than they do on the road. They average nearly 20 points per game in the first half. This is not a good Commanders defense. The Giants just put up 31 on them. What do you think the Dallas offense is going to do? So take it, leave it. I don't care what you do. I'm absolutely Dallas first half is going to make my card here -6.5. As long as you're at 6.5, I wouldn't go to 7 because you're going to be in danger of a push. But that said, if you get the 6.5, I have absolutely no worries about Dallas in the first half.
Let's go back to last week's show. Remember what we talked? I said there is no way in hell the Washington Commanders should be laying that many points against a pro team. What did they do? They lost outright to the Giants. Now, -6 in turnovers, that's something you cannot overcome in this league. And that's what happened. Sam Howell is just under siege, Mark. I mean, this guy is getting sacked left and right. And when you lose the Giants, I got to wonder. I mean, look, I know it's the holidays. It's Thanksgiving. We should all be happy, thankful for things. Is Ron Rivera coaching for his job on Thursday? Like, if he gets blown out, yeah,
he's getting fired regardless. I've talked to people inside that organization. They're getting rid of him no matter what. And you're right.
Well, yeah,
Sam Howell's saying, I haven't been hit on this much since college.
Yeah, exactly. And so there was this incredible stat with the Cowboys. You talked about, how they're just fleeing teams this year. So the Cowboys are the third team in the Super Bowl era to notch 6 wins by at least 20 points in their first 10 games. The other two, pretty good teams, Mark. 2007 Patriots, 1999 Rams. So they beat up on the bad teams. And
crazy part is neither one of those teams won the Super Bowl.
No, the Rams did. That was the year the Rams won it. That was the Kurt Warner. That was the year Kurt Warner. We all heard about him stocking shelves. It was 0-1 that they lost to the Patriots. Yeah. But okay. So, I mean, obviously 2 of the great teams all the time, and the Cowboys are not at that level. But to your point, they do have a habit of just boat racing these bad teams, and the Commanders are a bad football team. I don't think this line's high enough. I'm not saying I'll lay the full game spread, but this number is not high enough.
Not for nothing, but I would make Dallas the second best team in the NFC. My top 4 teams in order would be San Fran, Dallas, Philly, and the Lions.
I completely agree with that. Yes. 1 through 4. I would have the same exact 1 through 4. And if you are from Philadelphia and you don't like what we just had to say, please feel free to send your comments to hatemail@wagertalk.com where no one will respond.
Or just find Dan Sheridan and he will make you guys feel better.
Alexander, yeah. Seattle, are they undervalued coming off the loss to the Rams at home? I don't think the Niners have ever been this large of a road favorite in Seattle as far back as we have Dad. I don't know about like the Joe Montana, Jerry Rice year. Well, no, because they weren't division rivals back then. So they probably wouldn't play very much. So, yeah, I think that this might be kind of a record-setting spread, which is interesting because these teams had pretty similar records going into last week.
Yeah. By the way, I don't know why I keep saying Sheridan. Dan Alexander. I don't know what is in my head.
I don't know if you were saying Dave. I didn't know if you meant Dave Sherapan there or what. I was a little confused.
Apologies to Dan. He's our resident Eagles Philadelphia fan, and I don't know where my head is. I'm so focused on football, I can't get my mind right. But listen, Seattle's season might have just hinged on the leg of their kicker last week. That was a spot where they couldn't afford to lose a game to a team that they should have beaten. Did they come back better? I don't like the coaching matchup here for Seattle. This is kind of the spot where Kyle Shanahan abuses Pete Carroll and reminds him whose league this is. And this is a Seattle team offensively that still isn't very good. And their quarterback still isn't very good. And I don't know. I just was never that high on Seattle to begin with. I know it's a very tough place to play, and they're going to have a huge advantage. It's going to be a jacked up crowd on Thanksgiving night. But I don't know. I don't feel comfortable laying the 7 per se, but I would tell you it's Niners or pass for me. I don't want to back Geno Smith against this defense.
Especially he's banged up, too. He had to leave the game, obviously, and they had to bring Drew Lock in.
What did I tell you about San Francisco? Like, the way I see this, it's only one of 2 outcomes. Seattle wins outright or San Francisco blows their doors off by 24. Like, I don't see him. I don't see a game where San Fran wins by a field goal. I think San Fran dominates or Seattle wins the game outright.
Or you don't see any value because the look-ahead line was like, I think 4.5 or 5. Now it's up to 7, so you don't see any value necessarily in the change there. You're just saying it.
Again, that look-ahead line was based off of a Seattle team that was power rated from last year, right? Like, it wasn't a look-ahead line from last week. It was a look-ahead line from the beginning of the season before they snapped the football. And I was never that
Mhm.
high on Seattle this year anyway. I thought they were primed for regression as much as the Giants and the Vikings were. Because Geno Smith, the last 8 games of last year, guess what? We found out, yeah, that's why Geno Smith didn't have a starting job in the NFL for like 8 years, because he's not that good. So whatever he did in the first half of last year, I think was a mirage, and we're starting to see the real Geno Smith stand up, and he's not good. So I think there's only one of two outcomes. For me, I'd pick Seattle money line, roll the dice, or San Fran minus the points.
Okay.
Well, that's the way we go. And that does it for our Thanksgiving. We're on to pumpkin pie, which is quite the fine, delicious dessert if you put Cool Whip on top. I absolutely enjoy it. Pie, also good. You can keep your pecans, and sweet potatoes. Those aren't desserts. Okay. They're not desserts. So, yeah, cookies and pie. That's it.
Cookies and pie. I'll tell you know what? Well, I'll tell you what. I like winners, to be honest with you. The food always tastes better with winners, and
Always
we
a
should let the folks know about the outstanding once a year promo that we have going on at wagertalk.com right now. $69. You get 7 days worth of plays, all sports. That's Mark, me, anybody, any one of your favorites. You're covered. Obviously you're going to be watching these games. I mean, and let's be honest. You don't want to sit and talk to grandma. You want to watch and bet these games. So hop on over to wagertalk.com or sports memo and take advantage of that pass right now. Again, no coupon code needed, 7 days, $69. If my math is
beautiful.
correct, Mark, I was not a math major at Ohio University, but I believe that works out to less than $10 per day.
Very good. Ohio University's finest. So nothing better than a Bobcat here in the house, Brian Power. Make sure you follow him on Twitter at Brian Power _wins. I'm at Mark Zinno, MarkZinno. Again, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button on the Wager Talk YouTube channel. No full edition of the Hustle Show this week because of Thursday, Thanksgiving. So you'll get the Hustle Shorts throughout the rest of the week, though. Make sure you guys stay tuned right here to Wager Talk TV and the Hustle Show podcast. So for Brian Power, I'm Mark Zinno. Good luck tonight with your bets. Go cash your tickets. We'll talk to you tomorrow.